Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. It's 7 o'clock now and we will start our class with the starting prayer. So, can I ask the ST to give me an ID for the starting prayer? ST233, if you can give me an ID.
Yes, sure.
Jazakallah.
A7341.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. A7341, can you recite the prayers on the screen? Yeah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي إني لما أنزلت إلي من خير إلي من خير فقير.
Yeah,
My Lord, I am in need of whatever good thou mayest send down to me. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. Our Lord, accept this from us. From you are all hearing, all knowing.
Okay. Jazakallah. I would just like to remind you, when you are reciting Noon Mushaddad, make sure, not just Noon Mushaddad, any Mushaddad letter, make sure you stress on that letter for 2 seconds. And when it's Noon Mushaddad, you have to make nasal sound.
Hello.
Okay.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm not sure who was unmuted. Yeah, so A7341, as I was saying, you have to make nasal sound. So innaka. So make sure you do that. Jazakallah.
Okay, Jazakallah.
Okay. I would like to request the TA now to go through the class etiquettes.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I will tell you the class etiquettes. So before the lesson, make sure that you all perform ablution and that you cover your head. Make sure that you revise your lesson before every lesson and that you sit with an adult in a quiet room during the class. Make sure that your audio and video is turned off at all times. And your audio only should be on when the teacher asks you to be on mic. Make sure that you log in with your correct IDs. And during the lesson, make sure that you always listen attentively to the class. You make sure that you listen to all the instructions of the teacher and that you recite the verses alongside the online recitation. Do not raise your hand unless the teacher requests you to. After the lesson, please make sure that you revise your lesson and that you complete your assigned homework. If you want to get into contact about any queries, or if you want to notify about any absences, you can contact at info@nqc.org.uk. And please be reminded that these classes are just an additional support to learning and they're not a replacement for one-to-one learning at home. Jazakallah.
Jazakallah. So today, yesterday, we taught Surah Al-Inshirah, and today is just a revision lesson. So we will be going through the same surah again. So first of all, I will be reciting this chapter, and I would like to request all the students to recite along with me, and I will recite slowly so that everyone can recite with me. And afterwards, we will go through the same surah with 2 students, and then inshallah we will start listening to the hifz from the students. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. All right, Jazakumullah. And now I will request the ST to give me an ID to go over the same surah.
Okay. N8346.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. N8346. So can you recite just a minute? So if you can recite up to verse 5, starting with Tawbas.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك
أنقض ظهرك
أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك
ورفعنا لك ذكرك. Because, yeah.
ورفعنا لك ذكرك.
Okay. Jazakallah. So, noon has the fatha stroke, right? Which is followed by alif. So, we have to prolong it for 2 seconds. Okay?
Okay.
So, if a letter carries fatha stroke followed by alif of elongation, then prolong for 2 seconds. Here, in the very first verse, I can't highlight the letter separately. So the letter ra, it's carrying a fatha stroke, so it won't have a light sound. It will have a thick sound. So instead of nashrah, nashrah. Okay, can you hear the difference?
Yeah.
And similarly here as well. So can you recite this verse again?
ألم نشرح لك صدرك.
Okay, that was much better. And on dal, don't forget, you have to perform the rule of qalqala. So you have to make jerking sound. Sad, rock. Okay?
Okay.
All right. And Noon Sakin is followed by Qaf, right? So
Yes.
you have to perform the rule of ikhfa. So we can't say recite it as anka. We have to say anka. Okay?
Okay.
So the sound of noon has to be subtle. All right? There are only I mentioned this before, there are only certain letters. So if noon sakin is followed by those 7 letters, only then the sound of noon is clear. Okay? But in qaf is not one of those 7 letters. So we have to perform ikhfa here.
Okay.
All right, Jazakumullah.
Jazakallah.
Can we have another student for the remaining verses?
Yes, sure. A7334.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. A7334, can you recite from verse 6 onwards? And start with Tawus.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فإن مع العسر يسرا. إن مع العسر يسرا. فإذا
Yusra, because we are pausing here, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
إن مع العسر يسرا.
Usri.
يسرا. فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب.
Okay. Jazakumullah. So again, in the last verse on this letter ba sakin, we have to perform the rule of qalqala, so jerking sound. Do you know the rule of qalqala?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So can you recite this verse again and make sure that you perform the rule as well?
وإلى ربك فارغب.
Agab. Okay,
Gab.
jarring sound. All right. And here in verse 7, it's not ma'al, ma'al. Both letters mim and ain carry the fatha stroke, so each letter will be prolonged for only 1 second count. Okay, 1 second or count.
Okay.
And here I mentioned to the previous student as well, in the starting prayer, you have to make nasal sound. Okay, Ghunna. So when you say fa inna, take your time and recite slowly. Fa inna. Can you give it a try?
Yes. فإن
Much better. So keep on working and make sure to note down your mistakes as well so that later on you can work on them.
Okay.
All right, Jazakallah.
That's
So now we will move on to listening hifz, and I will just start the breakout room. Okay. So yeah, can I now request the SD to give me an ID, or maybe I can listen to the same student?
Oh,
7334.
he is muted now. I
Okay.
will give you. N8330.
Okay. And 8330. Assalamu alaikum.
Surah Shams.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. So previously you have memorized and recited Surah Al-Fatiha, Surah Al-Ala, and Surah Al-Ashiyah. Have you started memorizing Surah Shams?
Yeah, I finished Surah Shams.
Okay, that's very good. Well done. So can you recite? I will be listening to it. So if you can recite it.
Should I do it from the start?
Yeah.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها
Okay.
والنهار
And it's 330 slowly. Okay, take your time.
Okay.
Right.
والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها والنهار إذا جلاها والليل إذا يغشاها والسماء وما بناها والأرض وما طهاها ونفس وما سواها فألهمها فجورها وتقواها
Yeah. قد
قد أفلح من زكاها
Okay. Is that it? Or you وقد?
وقد خاب
Okay, that's
من دساها.
all right. That's fine. So it is a little bit long, this surah, so it's fine. You have probably recently memorized this surah, so you remember the first half really well, but you can't recall the second half, which is absolutely fine. So if you keep revising this surah, it will get better, and inshallah in the next 3 classes you can recite the complete surah. So well done for giving ago, in terms of pronunciation, I will point out a few mistakes. So let's start. So you recited up to verse 10. In verse 10, I mentioned to the previous students as well. Here we have the letter dal, sakin, because it doesn't carries a stroke like fatha, kasra, or dhamma. So you have to make a jerking sound. So instead of qad, qad. Can you hear the difference?
Yeah.
So can you give it a go?
قد أفلح من زكاها.
Okay. And here, don't prolong the ha too much. Just 1 second. Okay? Both
Okay.
lam and ha carry the fatha stroke. So each of them will be only 1 second long. So aflaha,
أفلح
aflaha, man zakkaha.
أفلح من زكاها.
Okay, that's fine. Just keep trying. In verse 7, yeah, here, the letter ha carries the vertical fatha, so you have to prolong it for 2 seconds. But yours was a little short, okay? It
Okay.
could be because you are reciting really fast. So if you recite more slowly, you will be able to give each letter its appropriate time that it requires. So can you recite this verse again and make sure that you prolong it for 2 seconds?
الأرض وما طحاها.
Okay, well done. In verse 4, yeah, here, can you tell me what mistake you probably made?
I needed to do the non sound for 2 seconds.
Yeah, the nasal sound. So can you give it a try?
والنهار إذا جلاها.
Okay. That was much better. Here, the letter zal, we have to differentiate between zal and za. Okay? So this letter, we have to make a hissing sound. So if the tip of the tongue, if you touch that with the upper teeth, and إذا.
إذا.
Okay. Yeah, just keep trying because this letter appears quite a few times, right? So, all right, that's fine. Keep revising, and inshallah, the next few verses you will also be able to perfect them. Have you memorized Surah Al-Inshirah?
No.
Okay, that's fine. So just keep working on this surah, and when you are done, then you can start with the next one, inshallah. All right, Jazakallah. Can I request the ST to give me another student?
Yes, sure. A7347.
A7347.
Yes, he is unmuted.
Okay. A7347. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay,
Okay.
give another. A7338.
A7338.
Can you try to unmute him?
Yeah.
Are you able or not?
Yeah. A7338.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. So just previously you have recited up to verse 12 of Surah Al-Ala. Have you memorized the next few verses?
Verse 11.
Okay, you recited up to verse 11.
Yes.
Have you memorized the next few surahs?
No.
Okay. Have you started memorizing any other surahs? Surah Al-Ghashiyah?
No, because I forgot.
Okay, that's fine. So make sure that you finish Surah Al-Ala and then start memorizing the next few surahs. Surah Al-Ghashiyah, Surah Shams, and Surah Al-Inshirah as well. So it's fine. Maybe next time. Can we have?
Yes, I will give you. N8330.
I was just on.
Yeah.
It's okay. That time.
She just.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I give you another one. N8334.
N8334. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Just give me a second.
Surah Al-Ala, up to verse number 10.
Okay. So previously you have recited up to verse 10 of Surah Al-Ala.
Yes.
Have you memorized the next few surahs?
I've memorized all of it, but I can get a little bit stuck near the end.
Okay, that's fine. So let's let me tell you where to start from. So if you can start from verse 8, it's on the screen.
Okay.
Starting with Tawbas, and then we'll see. So you can continue all the way to the end.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إلا ما شاء الله إنه يعلم الجهر وما يخفى
Can you recite from Innahu again?
إلا ما شاء الله إنه يعلم الجهر وما يخفى ويسرك ولليسرى ونيسرك لليسرى فذكر إن نفعت الذكرى
سيذكر
من يخشى
Yeah. Okay, recite from Sayyazakaru again.
سيذكرك من يخشى لا ويتجنبه من يخشى
بها الأشقى. Okay. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. This is a long surah, so it will take some time. You just need to keep revising it again and again so that you don't forget which verse starts with which word.
Okay.
Because when in the real exam, the examiner won't be telling you the first word of each verse, right?
Okay.
So it's absolutely fine. You recited up to ashqa, right?
Yes.
Yeah, well done. For that, I will point out a few mistakes in terms of pronunciation. So first of all, here we have Madde Kabir, right?
Yes.
So do you know how long? Do you know how much you have to prolong this?
4 seconds.
Yeah, that's right. So yours was a little short. So make sure that you recite slowly
Okay.
and give it the required time, okay?
Okay.
And here you completely forgot Vanu. So you forgot this here and you started reciting from Nuyassiruka. So make sure that you don't forget there is a wa at the beginning. And in verse 10,
Yes.
don't prolong this ain with the fatha stroke more than 1 second. Okay, a lot of students do that. So, but make sure that both fa and ain are carrying the same stroke, so they will be equally prolonged for 1 second each. So, in nafa'ati zikra. Okay,
Okay.
and one last mistake here. Both the letter zal and the letter kaf are carrying shad, this shad stroke, right? This little tiny W like shape. So you have to stress on both letters and make a double sound. So sayazakaru. You did it right on kaf, but on zal, you didn't stress on the letter zal.
Okay.
Okay, so can you recite this verse again?
سيذكر من يخشى.
Okay, recite with me. Sayazakaru.
سيذكر.
Okay, not sayazakaru, because that sounds like zal is only carrying the fatha stroke, but it is also carrying the shad stroke, right? So you have to make a double sound. So sayazakaru.
سيذكر.
Okay, well then, that was much better. So keep working on these few errors, and also keep revising the entire surah. And inshallah, in next lesson maybe, the teacher can listen. Another teacher will listen to your hifz.
Okay.
So Jazakillah. Can we have another?
Yes. N8329.
An 8329.
Yeah.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. So previously, you recited up to verse 4 of Surah Shams, right? Have you memorized the next few surahs, verses?
I finished it.
Okay, that's very good. Let's just go to the surah. Okay, so I will tell you where to start reciting from. You can start reciting from the beginning and then continue all the way up to the end, okay?
Okay.
All right.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Do I look at the screen?
I'll remove it. Okay.
والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا والنهار إذا جلاها والليل إذا يغشاها
والسماء
والسماء وما بناها والأرض وما طحاها
yeah ونفس
ونفس وما سواها فألهمها فجورها وتقواها قد أفلح من زكاها
فقد
أم وق- أم وقد خاب من دساها كذبت ثمود بتغواها إذ انبعث أشقاها
فقال
فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها فكذبوه فأكروها فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها ولا يخاف عقباها.
Okay. Jazakallah, you have recited the entire surah. Let's go to the surah. So, first of all, well done for making an effort and memorizing the surah. To perfect your hifz of this surah and all other surahs, you have to keep revising, so that you have to be fluent as well, right?
Yeah.
When you do hifz. So if you keep revising, your fluency will get better. So in terms of pronunciation, I will point out a few mistakes. So in the verse 14, I will highlight the mistake and let's see if you know. So I have highlighted where you made the error. So do you know what error you made?
Do the nasal sound?
Okay. No, not nasal sound. So I will just quickly tell you. So the word Allah, if the previous letter carries a fatha, as you can see in this case, the previous letter carries a fatha, and or if the previous letter carries a dhamma stroke, in this case, the lam in the word Allah, you have to make a thick sound for it, okay? So not like Allah, Rasulullah. Can you hear the difference?
Yeah.
Naqatallah. Can you recite this verse again? And if you can try to correct the pronunciation as well.
فقال لهم رسول الله Nakatallahi wasuqiyaha.
Okay. It was much better this time, but you made another mistake. So here, faqa, make sure you prolong it for 2 seconds, okay? So yo was short. So can you say it again? Faqala.
Faqala.
Okay. Because qaf is carrying a fatha stroke, right? And it's followed by the alif of elongation. So you have to prolong it for 2 seconds. Another mistake in verse 15. Here, it's the same rule. So if a letter carrying dhamma is followed by vowel, you have to prolong it for 2 seconds. Okay? But
Okay.
you quickly said buhu, like 1 second each. But you have to stay for a bit long on boo, okay? فَكَذَّبُوهُ. Can you recite it?
Fakazzabuhu.
Okay, well done. In verse 13, we are here. Don't forget this qaf with 2 dots. You have to differentiate the sound from this qaf in kalsabat, right? They look different and they sound different as well. So, okay, I'm unable to highlight it, but you can see here, right?
Yeah.
So, kalsabat, it's simple sound just like K, the letter K in English alphabets. But here, ashqaha, there's a thick sound, okay? So can you recite this verse again? Verse 13.
Okay. Izimba sa ashqaha.
Okay. Keep trying and it will inshallah get better. In verse 11, here, so I mentioned it to the previous students as well. Here in verse 11, the noon, sakin, is followed by the letter dal, right? So
Yeah.
I didn't mention it to the previous student, but there are 7 letters. If they are followed by noon sakin, only then the sound of noon is clear. And those 7 letters are alif, hamza, ha, ain, ha, ain, ha. Okay? So dal isn't one of those 7 letters, and that's why we have to perform the rule of ikhfa. If instead of dal, here we had one of those 7 letters, then the sound of noon will be clear, like man. Okay? But in this case, we have to make a subtle noon sound. So, Mawdasaha. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Can you recite this verse again?
Okay. Wakad khaba maundasaha.
Okay, well done. That is much better. So in verse 9 and 10, you made same mistakes because the same rule appeared again and again. And here in verse 11 as well. So these 3 places which I've just highlighted, you have to perform the same rule. And I have mentioned it to the previous students as well. So just to see if you were listening and if you understood what I was saying, do you know what mistake you made?
Do I need to give a jerk?
Yeah, you have to make a jerking sound. You have to perform qalqala because dal and this qaf, the one with 2 dots, are parts of those 5 letters where you have to perform qalqala. So if I ask you to recite this verse again, verse 10, and make sure you also apply the rule as well.
Okay. قد أفلح من زكاها.
Okay, again. So you applied the rule of qalqala here, but you made a mistake, which you made here as well. So here we have after nun sakin is followed by the letter za, which is not part of the 7 letters, where we have so basically if here instead of za we had one of those 7 letters which I mentioned previously, then the sound of noon will be clear, just like the sound of the letter N in English. But because the za is not part of those 7 letters, the sound of noon is not going to be clear. We have to perform ikhfa, which means hide or mask the sound of N. Okay, so mauzakaha. Is it clear this time?
Yeah.
All right, and just one last thing. Here in Auzu Billah, it's a very common error. A lot of people recite this as Twa, but it's not supposed to be recited like that, okay? So it's Ash-Shaytanir Rajim, okay?
Okay.
So yeah, just keep working and inshallah it will get better. Have you memorized or started memorizing Surah Inshirah?
No.
Okay, that's fine. Keep revising this surah and the previous surahs as well. And Jazakallah. Okay, can we have another student?
Yes. A7330.
A7330. Assalamu alaikum.
A7330.
Okay. I will try to unmute. Okay, it's unmute.
Yeah, he's unmute.
Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, I will
There
give
is
you
no
another.
response.
Yeah. A7347.
A7347.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Walaikum assalam.
Okay, just give me a moment.
Surah Al-Ala up to verse number 11.
No, I know all of Surah Al-Ala now.
Okay, so previously you recited up to verse 11 of Surah Al-Ala and you have
Yes.
memorized the entire surah. So I will tell you where to start reciting from. If you can start reciting from verse 9, it's on the screen, and then go all the way up to the end.
What, should I read from the screen?
I removed the screen, so verse 9,
Okay.
just to show you where to start from.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فذكر إن نفعت ذكرى
Okay, that's verse 10, but yeah, carry on.
سيذكر من يخشى ويتجنبها الأشقى الذي يصلى النار الكبرى ثم لا يموت فيها ولا يحيا قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى فيه إبراهيم وموسى.
Okay. Jazakallah. So
جزاك الله.
well done for memorizing, completing the surah. In terms of memorization, you did really well. I will point out a few
جزاك الله.
mistakes in pronunciation. So in verse 11, you made the same mistake as one of the previous students did. I have highlighted the letter. Can you tell me what mistake you made?
Did I not prolong it?
No. No, that's not the case. So I mentioned to the previous student as well, this letter, Zal, is carrying the stroke of Shad, right? This tiny W.
Yes.
It looks like a W. So you have to stress on this letter. You did it just right on Qaf, but you didn't do it on Zal. So it's not Sayazakkaru. Sayazakkaru. Okay? So can you recite this verse?
سيذكر من يخشى.
Okay, that was much better. So in verse 14,
Yes.
this la, you didn't prolong it for 2 seconds. So you just said la yamutu, but because the la with the fatha stroke, it's followed by alif of elongation. Make sure that you prolong it for 2 seconds, okay? And the same goes for the la here. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. And in verse 15, again, aflaha is wrong. Aflaha, because both lam and ha carry the fatha stroke, so you have to prolong them for no more than 1 second. And you
Yes.
also have to prolong them equally. So
Okay.
yeah, the lam, you recited it perfectly, but the ha was long. So can you recite this verse again?
قد أفلح من تزكى.
Okay, don't prolong ha. Just 1 second long, both lam and ha.
قد أفلح من تزكى.
Okay, recite with me. قد أفلح من تزكى.
قد أفلح من تزكى.
Okay, this time it was much more equally distributed, and yeah, the timing was right. So well done. Just keep on working on these mistakes.
Yes.
And yeah, that's about it. So now we are going to move towards the conclusion of our class. And I will quickly remind all the students about the homework. So the homework for today is to memorize chapter 94, Surah Al-Inshirah. And if you have already memorized it, then keep revising it. And inshallah, you will have a try in the next few lessons. And the previously taught chapters, so chapter 1, chapter 87, chapter 88, and chapter 91, chapter 93, and chapter 94, make sure that if you have already memorized them, then keep on revising them, because otherwise, if you don't revise, then you will forget, right? And if you haven't memorized, then that's fine as well. Keep working on the surah on which you are working right now, and then you can slowly move on to the next surahs. Okay. Just a second. Okay. So now we are going to end our class with the ending prayers. Can I ask TST or an ID?
Yes, A7326.
A7326.
326.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
A7326, can you recite the ending prayer for everyone?
Uh,
Starting with Tawus.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
Ma
Excuse me.
Hirrahma. Make sure you prolong.
الرحمة اللهم ارحمني بالقرآن العظيم واجعله لي إماما ونور
Ima. Okay, it's not a. Imama.
إماما ونورا وهدى ورحمة
Rahmah. Because you're pausing, right?
Yes.
Okay, and the English translation?
And make it for me the leader. O Allah, have mercy on me through the great Quran, and make it for me the leader, the light, the guidance, and the mercy.
Okay. Jazakallah is A7326, and Jazakallah everyone for attending today's class. And with this, we are going to end our today's class. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.